So, what is your type? The douchebag still?
Unfortunately, I'm trying to not make it be my type, but I'm telling you, you can put me in a room with 30 decent dudes and 5 douchebags, and I'll probably be attracted to the 5 douchebags.
So that's a willing detachment, what that is. I mean, I recognize it because that's the work that I do. Is like, so we call it old relationship energy. It's stuck inside the heart, and what happens is it acts like a magnet. And so you're attracted. So
it grosses me out. I hate it.
It's what you're familiar with. And so part of the work that I do is I remove that from your heart so that you can actually really fall in love for the first time again, fresh, but you're already in love. But it definitely does remove those attachments so that you can actually experience what you're looking for without all of that, the past basically haunting your future.
I was going to say, do people usually know their core wound?
Sometimes they don't. Actually, what she thought was her core wound wasn't her core wound. I told her what her core wound was, and she started crying. She was like, oh my God. She's like, how come she's like, I've been seeing the therapist for, I don't remember exactly how many years she said. Maybe she didn't say she's been seeing the therapist for years. She's like,
haven't got some.
She's never mentioned this, and you're exactly right. She's like, that's been the theme of my life.
Huh.
And she's like, how come I didn't see that? I'm like, this is what I love about her. I think she is such an incredibly strong woman emotionally to allow for the person who she loves so completely and fully to go and to do this. And she's told me this. She's like, look, I can't love a Ryan who isn't free. And if you're not free, I don't want to be with you. I want you to be your full authentic self. And if that means that you need to go and to explore yourself, then as much as it discomforts me or it hurts me or it scares me, I'm willing to live with those discomforts. Well, I remember one time I was at a party with my wife, and her goal was to have a thing with just all women. Mm-hmm. And there was one guy that had a crush on my wife, and so my wife organized the whole thing. We went into the bedroom. It was private. It was all 3 of us there, all 3 couples, and they were making out. They were having a great time. One of the women went down on my wife. My wife came, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" And so she was having the time of her life. Like in her mind, this was like the pinnacle of experiencing and
fantasy or whatnot.
Yeah. And so one guy was super excited because he finally saw my wife naked. And so he's like stroking himself, watching this stuff. And then the other guy's like, comes over and shaking my hands like, thank you so much for making this happen. And I'm like, I had nothing to do with this.
Take her.
Yeah.
That brings up another thing. I had a guy ask etiquette on guys at their parties. And some people didn't like it. And they were like, oh, you should have to ask. If you're watching somebody and you masturbate from watching them, you should ask them. And I was like, no. I feel like if you're out in the open, you're going to expect the people to watching you. And if they want to do it.
But not in your face.
Of course, yeah. Keep a distance. Don't get right up on them. Don't come on them.
Right.
But I'm like, keep a distance. Be sanitary. Clean up after yourself. Don't be shooting your stuff all over my house. Like, I don't want to clean up after you.
No, not at all.
So, we've never had that though. I've never had guys that I saw.
So we were in San Francisco, and I was f***ing her on a couch at this party.
Was it a club?
It was a masquerade party. Okay. So it was at a club, but it was private. It wasn't at.
They rented it or something.
Yeah, it was a private party, so it wasn't like a Twist or Dark Change. And so we're there, and I'm on the couch with her, and I'm slapping her, like I'm just slapping her cheeks, and it's just like, and they're like counting out loud, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm not in the 30s, and I'm just like, I'm just like going for days. And this dude comes like right in her face. He's like, oh yeah, keep her going. And she goes, get the out of here.
Right. Like, who are you?
Yeah. And I was like, it kind of like ruined the mood. And
get yourself invited.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, okay, so one party that we had gone to, like I said, my husband and I hardly ever do anything. And there was a girl that he liked there. And I wasn't really interested in her man. I kind of gonna take one for the team.
Oh God, yeah.
And
he'll love you that.
And so I was doing stuff with the girl. My husband was behind her doing stuff with her, and her man was trying to do some stuff with me. But then we were getting crowded, and he tried to take a step back to give us more room, and he literally stepped back on the foot of a guy that was right there masturbating.
Oh God.
And so then he touched the guy's dick, and then he's like, no, I can't do it. And this was kind of like a country. He was kind of like a cowboy country guy, so he was really like a little bit gay phobic, had a
yeah.
So that I hit the brakes on that, but yeah, it was the same thing, too close. Come on, if you're gonna do it, they step back a little bit, give us some space, feel free to watch. We're out in the public. I'm like, if you don't want to be watched, get a private room.
I remember one time, I'm not gay, I'm not homophobic at all. I remember we were doing a strip Jenga or at a party. So these were it was like a hotel room, and they're just nothing but just games. And
Cool, that's fun.
yeah, just random people. I'm like, oh, a bunch of cute people, cute girls and good-looking guys, whatnot. So we're there, and we're going around, and the dude pulls the Jenga thing, and so you don't know you're pulling until you actually pull it out, and then you see what it says.
Right.
And it says, grab the person next to you.
And you were next to him.
Yeah, as a guy, and he's like, oh, yeah. So he just like grabs my balls. I'm like, whatever, big deal.
It's funny.
Yeah,
It's just all for fun.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to the my wife though. So when it's down, we all get on the bed, and we're all gonna have this one big orgy. Or not so much orgy, because she's just like parallel play, but on the same night, have sex.
Watching, listening.
Yeah, and so I wasn't hard because that didn't turn me on. And she's like, oh my god, that was so fucking on. How you doing, baby? I'm like, that was cool. She's like, you turned on. I'm like, I'm honest. I'm like, no. Oh no. And it fucking killed the and like I'm like, yeah, I wasn't even hard. Like everyone else was like, they're going there, they're doing their thing, and I'm like, that doesn't turn me on. That kind of stuff doesn't. And so
I went to one orgy.
Yeah,
it was the same thing in a motel room. It wasn't games, but it was everybody for an orgy, and I left crying. It was not for me.
Oh, wow.
It was upsetting for me. It was just, for one, I get claustrophobic.
Okay, yeah.
And for two, it was just like people, just too many bodies, too many people doing something. And this one chick like pops out of a mass of bodies, and she's like, I just got a pearl necklace, and I don't even know who it was from.
Oh, God.
And it was just like, it took
some people love that.
Yeah, some people like it, and that's fine. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was upset, and I told my husband, like, I gotta go, and I was crying, and oh my God. So we brought one of the guys home that had been one of the guys I was dating.
Yeah.
And I went to close my daughter's door because I didn't want her, like I said, she hates all this. So I didn't want her to see that we had brought a guy home.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I went to close her door.
She hates it now, but when she's older, she's like, my mom's such a badass.
Oh, yeah, hopefully. But so I go to close her door, and then I walk in on her and her boyfriend having sex, and I was already traumatized from the orgy.
Oh,
so I just like closed her door, and I just dropped to the ground. I was like, no.
Oh.
So yeah, it was. Ugh. We laugh about it now. I mean,
yeah.
And I
don't laugh about that moment. She still is kind of hurt that I wasn't turned on in her special moment, but and it is what it is.
That's funny. But I do say, like, so when people ask me, like, we actually did an interview last night for a reality show about the lifestyle.
Oh, interesting.
And so it was my second interview. First, she interviewed just me, and we stay in touch. Whenever anything funny or whatever happens, I'm always texting her.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, your life's so crazy.
Did she know you were doing this interview?
Yeah, I told her. I've told her about you before, too, because I'm trying to get you on the show, too.
Alan? We have a look at my show.
But anyway, so...
offer.
So we were... doing an interview, and she was saying, to tell us pros and cons, or like, what's your favorite thing about the lifestyle or whatever. And I was saying that my favorite things have been getting to know myself better, getting to know my husband better. It's really given me a better appreciation for him. The things that I've liked about the lifestyle is getting to know myself more, getting to know my husband more, getting a better appreciation for him, funny stories. Like, my favorite thing is the stories. Like, they're funny shit. Oh my God. And then, what was the other one? Meeting some good people, making some good, like-minded friends. And it's actually given me, like, my husband really isn't my type. And back when we got...
What is your type?
Okay, I'll tell you. So back when we first got together, I was in my 20s. He's 11 years older than me. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to date guys that were my type, which would have been young, hot guys, right? Okay. So they typically are an ass or douchebags.
Oh, okay.
But they were all like, why don't you get a babysitter? When you get to ditch the kid? And I'm like a helicopter attachment parent. So I'm always with my kid. I mean, obviously not always, but a lot of times. So what I liked about my husband is he was like, do you and your daughter want to come go run errands with me? Or
so you already had your daughter?
I had one.
Got it.
Yeah, so I had one child before I was a single mom.
Yeah.
And so he actually included her. And so I liked that. I was like, he's not really my type, but I'll give him a chance. And then, like,
you guys together for
almost 24 years.
Yeah, wow.
So at this time, he lived in Chico, and his brother runs Marquee Entertainment, which is a strip company there, and he was working for his brother as still.
How amazing.
And so actually, some of the people from my group, I got them jobs up there. So if it's this weird, twisted thing, But anyway, so of course, everybody thought I was a stripper. I talked to people, and they're like, are you still stripping? And I'm like, no, I never was. I just went out with those people. But anyway.
You just have the body for it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the strippers and his brother and all of our friends would call his boyfriend a girlfriend, and then he started calling me his girlfriend, And I was like, do I have a say in this? And then I got pregnant with our daughter, and I said, I guess you could call me your girlfriend now.
Oh God, yes.
So that's our joke, is I'm like, when I got pregnant, I'm like, I guess you could call me your I guess that's what's happening now. And then do you remember Girls Gone Wild?
I do.
Okay, so they had come up there because Chico used to be party boys, right?
Yeah.
And so we were doing a river raft with all the strippers. And Girls Gone Wild was there on a boat. So all the strippers get up out there and they're dancing, and they pull me up. I'm like 3 or 4 months pregnant.
Oh, God.
So I'm dancing, and then the boat starts to go. And my husband's on the beach, and he's yelling, you better get off that boat. Better get off that boat. And I'm thinking, I'm pregnant. Do I jump off a moving boat while pregnant?
Right.
And they weren't going too fast. So I jumped off. But now that's another funny story of ours. Like, I jumped off a moving Girls Gone Wild boat while pregnant. And my daughter's like, that explains it. That's what's wrong with me.
That's not very. Do you just have the 2 kids?
Well, a year ago, we found out that he had a son we never had done. Was 23. He's 24 now. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, I'm doing my math. The boy was born a month before we got together.
Oh.
So, and I guess he was with the mom one time, but
Oh, thanks.
All right. So we were, everybody asks if I'm mad, and how would I be mad? I had 12 kids. I just am sad I missed out. We missed out. So I was thinking, the first time we hung out with him, I was like, let's take him and do something we would have done when he was little. So our first time hanging out with the kid, we went and caught crawdads and tadpoles. Because that's something we did with the kids a lot when they were little.
Yeah.
So we take this 23-year-old kid out to, nice to meet you, let's catch crawdads and tadpoles.
Right.
But it was totally cool. It was like, wasn't awkward or weird.
Yeah. Do you still hang out with him or not?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
yeah.
cool.
And we tried to take him on vacations with us, and
I love that.
it's on our insurance, and yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's different, you know.
Where's mom in the picture?
His mom?
Yeah.
He doesn't talk to her much, which is weird that she's the one that connected my husband with the kid. And
the kid.
I know.
The son?
The son. And so the mom had basically like friended Duke, and then I guess she was watching his interaction and to see what kind of a person he was. And then she said, we have a kid together. And he was like, what? Why didn't you tell me? Like, what? But in her defense, during the time when they had hooked up, and he was in the race, you know, pretty heavily, putting on the events, or doing all the stuff that
She didn't want that.
She didn't want that around the kid. But you weren't bad people. Like, we were still good people. I mean, and so it's kind of sad because he missed out. We missed out on, and you can never have that same relationship as if you raised them.
Right.
But yeah, we have a good, like, he's meeting us this Sunday. It's the grandma's birthday, so he's going to drive with his girlfriend down to always meet her.
Where's he live at?
He lived in Chico.
Okay, yeah. So, what is your type? The douchebag still?
Unfortunately, I'm trying to not make it be my type, but I'm telling you, you can put me in a room with 30 decent dudes and 5 douchebags, and I'll probably be attracted to the 5 douchebags.
So that's a wound attachment, what that is. I mean, I recognize it because that's the work that I do. Is like, so we call it old relationship energy. It's stuck inside the heart, and what happens is it acts like a magnet, and so you're attracted to it. But it
grosses me out. I hate it.
It's what you're familiar with, and so part of the work that I do is I remove that from your heart so that you can actually really, like, not in this case, fall in love for the first time again, like, fresh, but you're already in love. But it definitely does remove those attachments so that when you do go out looking for a sexual partner or something.
We're probably, like, I am auditioning for a voice for 2. Yeah, so I'm pulling auditions.
She's wonderful. Not personal experience, I don't know, but it does remove that so that you can actually experience what you're looking for without all of that, the past basically haunting your future. I'm not suggesting this is what you need, but I'm saying I'm very familiar with what you're saying. It's interesting because I also asked my wife too. I'm like, why are you with me? Because I'm not her type at all. Her type is the skater type, the tall, skinny, lanky, maybe like a mountain climber kind of a person. And I'm like, not that. I'm not tall. I'm not skinny per se. I'm
thin and fit.
Yeah, I'm an average hill. Yeah. And
I was checking you out when you were changing shirts.
What's your picture?
Yeah. So you did it.
You can check me out anytime. And so, but I recognize, like, I'm not her type, and I ask her, I'm like, and I am kind of an ass.
Are you?
I am.
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm an ass in the way that, like, if it's important to me, you're not going to get in my way. Mm-hmm. I'm going to.
I don't know if that's ass. I'm the same way, but yeah. But I also, some people consider me a bitch.
Yeah. Like, my boundaries are very firm. Like, I know I have my purpose, and I have the direction I'm going, and if you're going to get in my way, then I'm going to run yours over. Mm-hmm. And sometimes for feelings to get hurt because I choose my purpose instead of choosing her. But then again, I also put my desires on the hold, my desires that is, and I choose her. So I mean, there's this give and take that I recognize within myself. So I do have this softness to me, but at the same time, I realize I'm not your partner. I'm like, I am your partner, but I'm not your leader. I still persecute you all the time.
Yeah. I feel like I'm a lot like that too. It was actually kind of funny last night during the interview or audition or whatever the video recording we did with the agent. At one point, she asked Duke and I to describe each other, and so I was like, "Oh my God." And so I described him and like what I like about him and stuff. And then he was describing me, and he said that I'm passionate, I'm caring, I'm loving. But he's like, she's tiny, she's not going to kick anybody's ass. But if words could kick ass, Dasha's words would be kicking ass. And so I'm articulate and whatever.
I think you're kind of scrappy. I think if you actually had to throw down, you would. A good fight.
I don't know, but verbally I'm scrappy, I guess. Yeah. Verbally scrappy. So I was like cringing, like, oh God, how much is he going to tell about all my stuff? But no, we said good things about each other.
That's interesting that you're on that you're still being considered for that show. I think that when you brought that up, again, this goes back, it ties into the whole thing that you are so well connected. So when I was looking to get out of Allures, the New Year Eve party, because my wife doesn't swing, she's at best bisexual, but it's very selective. People have threesomes all the time, but I allowed to just go and just be with her. Just I wouldn't say anybody, but I enjoy that.
The vibe and the energy.
Yeah, I love being desired. I love being, just appreciated in that way. So, and so I had asked you like, hey Dasha, what's happening on New Year's Eve? And you gave me this burner party, and I'm like, holy shit!
It was good.
It was amazing.
Good about. My husband went a different time. That time you were hosting end of it, so we didn't know.
Well, that's what introduced me to the whole burner community.
Right, then you got more involved.
And I was bringing that.
Yeah.
But it comes to show that you are so connected with such a wide variety of people. I mean, like
very eclectic, yes.
You are very eclectic.
It comes back again to why I'm doing the convention.
Because of the convention, but even the show, I mean, like being considered, I'm like shit, like, and then part of it's like FOMO is like, if I don't hang out with Dasha, if I'm not
I'm that cool kid.
what am I going to miss? Well, I'm not the cool kid, but what am I going to miss out on? Like, what is she doing? Yeah, like, you're so well connected.
No, I always deal with people about you. There's certain people in my group that there's just something unique about them, and it's usually you and Molly. Like those are, and then I have other friends that there's something cool about them too, but it's always you and Molly. I'm trying to be like, come on, they're amazing. They have a fun, like a crazy off like story that you would never believe. Like, I mean, who can say they're a blue reader? Come on, only you.
I know.
Although I think there's a girl one now. Somebody said there's a girl reader.
Oh, interesting. I would love to meet her.
I have to, yeah.
And compare notes.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna get the information for you.
So I met with someone yesterday. We were doing a live reading here, and this was the craziest thing. So I'm constantly learning new things. So I'm going. So she shares with me what her core wound is, and which I always discover what it is.
I was gonna say, do people usually know their core wound?
Sometimes they don't. Actually, what she thought was her core wound wasn't her core wound. I told her what her core wound is, and she started crying. She was like, "Oh my God." She's like, "How come She's like, "I've been seeing the therapist for." I don't remember how many years she said. Maybe she didn't say she's like been seeing the therapist for years. She's like,
haven't got to.
She's never mentioned this, and you're exactly right. She's like, that's been the theme of my life.
Huh.
And she's like, how come I didn't see that? I'm like, sometimes you just can't see it. But anyway,
you're too close.
She told me what it was, and so because I was doing the boot reading, and so at that time, did I ask you about your sensitivity? When I did your reading, when I just see your reading, didn't I?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, so I think I see the reading because when I go to parties, I keep it very high level, very fun, very playful, because I don't want people to be like,
yeah, I'll get busy with things, yeah.
But when I'm doing my work, so I'll get into sensitivity, and so the brain makes no distinction between role play.
We did talk about it, because we did my reading here.
Correct, yeah. So in talking to her, she's like, I have no sensitivity in my and so I asked her about her trauma, and I said, you know what's interesting, because one breast is designated towards friends and family, and one breast is designated towards your lovers. And so her specific core wound was betrayal. And I said, do you know which one is the deeper wound? And she's like, I would say it's my she's going through a divorce. She's like, I'd say it would be my lover boot because I'm going through a divorce right now. And I go, well, the only way to tell is for me to stimulate your nipples. It might be okay if I put my mouth on you. And she's like, oh yeah, that's fine. So I kiss on her nipples, or I lick on her nipples a little bit, and friends and family, dead.
Huh.
No sensation at all. So then I move over to her lover boot, and as soon as I make my lips touch her, she's like, oh, she's like, I feel that. She's like, I normally can't, but I can feel that. I'm like, interesting. So your betrayal your core wound with betrayal has to do with friends and family. She started crying.
Initial, like, because she might remember the other one that's newer.
Oh yeah, no, she knew exactly what it was. She goes, when I was 5, my mom did X, Y, and Z, and I've never forgiven her for that. And her mom really did betray her in such a severe way at that age. And I'm like, well, that's what we're going to work on when we get together then, because we're going to do some work and stuff like that. So anyway, a whole deeper level on like the blue readings and how I use for diagnosis, and I'm like, like I can actually dive deep into which relationship is actually the perpetrator.
Right at the start, at the beginning.
Where this happened, like the impetus, you know?
Because usually a lot of us might add multiple, but there's like
it's a theme across your life.
Yeah.
It just keeps repeating
Starts here.
Yeah. But she immediately thought it was like because of this. And then we went back and the body doesn't lie. Body tells the truth. And so she was just like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
It was so crazy.
So, when I was telling the reality show, she wanted to hear like, what's some of your craziest stories, right?
Yeah.
And so I was telling her that I rent out my garage for the dominatrix will rent that for BDSM class. And even just working with the one-on-one clients. And so I'm so nosy and like intrigued by everything I wanted to watch.
Yeah.
And so, but I was scared to watch because I was like, oh, I don't know. It's like asking to videotape.
Right.
So when she was going to go in, she was like, kind of like, oh, I don't know if you're interested in this or not. Like she was hesitant to ask me. And so she had one client that wanted to pay me to watch him watch her. And I was like, give me that money. I want to do it anyways. So
he's paying you to watch him as he's working with
Well, okay, so his date, I don't know. I guess it's okay since we don't know who's to. But his date, okay. So he wanted to wash her, shake her legs, and put a tampon in. Oh, it's just while she showered. And so they even went shopping, and he was like excited, rubbing his neck, buying her tampons, like just the thought of it.
Yeah.
So then they come to my house, and he wanted us to pick out women's lingerie for him. And this is a probably 65-year-old bald white guy.
Yeah.
Like, middle class, whatever.
It's whatever his kink is.
And apparently he used to be a peeping Tom and he wanted to do it ethically. Oh. So he wanted her like pretend she didn't know he's watching or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he sets up a chair, he watches her put a tampon in and shake her legs, and it was about 20 minutes. So I watched him watch her for 20 minutes. He gives me $600, and I was like, man, that's the easiest, quickest. Oh, how much? Yeah. So I'm like, give me more. Like, what else? And I don't think I could do the real dominatrix work. Like, but they said that what you do is you say, these are my limits. Like, I won't do this, this, and this, but I'll do this. Like, sensory play, I could do that. Just some other things.
Everyone's so different. You know, it's interesting. So when I'm doing work here in my other studio, I give women privacy to undress and to get on the table and stuff like that. And there was this one woman, I'm like, okay, go ahead and get undressed. I'm going to step out real quick. And she was, actually, will you just sit here and watch me undress? And I was like, absolutely, yeah. May I ask why? She's like, because I want to be seen. I want a man to admire me, and I want to feel like as I'm undressing that this is something that is, provocative for you. I don't want to feel like I'm just like
rushing to cover in.
Yeah. And I was like, it was interesting because, and I was so proud of her because in that moment, and this is the second time I had worked with her. So the first time I had already worked with her once, and so this is the second time. And the funny thing about it is that she's an MFT. She's a marriage and family therapist. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, you're good. Because I was like, yeah, great. She's like, you're here, I know. And so she is like, she's just like, no, I actually want somebody to admire me and watch me, and I want to be seen. Mm-hmm. Basically, they always just to come in and do your work. I want you to see me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, people have desires, and they're not. I mean, they're their desires, and so like let them desires.
Yeah.
Desire.
It's funny that you bring that up too, because like when I'm doing those photo shoots with Molly,
yeah,
we start out dressed and then we progressively get more undressed.
Yeah.
And so I'm like just taking stuff off, throwing it, and she's like, slow down, like Bill, like.
Enjoy it, yeah.
And I've always just like, and so I'm having to slow myself down.
So let's see how they can. How was that again? So good at that.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
There's been a lot of trauma in my marriage, in my experience, and in my husband's past. I was seeking healing in whatever capacity I was able to encounter it. I came across Ryan, and we decided to go forward and planned for a session. Then we met at for Ed's office for a session, which began with counseling. And the counseling component itself was pretty impressive. It was very thorough with seeing me, and really, I felt very seen in my whole experience. So he could see what direction I was ready to move in and from what perspective I was coming from. It felt like a very unexpected healing experience that I embraced. It came to me, and it was an opportunity for me to exercise my adult consent in a safe place. I feel grounded in my healing journey, and I look forward to continuing that journey of healing and growth. I have a lot of gratitude for Ryan and the work that he's done for me.
Now, back to our Topless Talk interview with Ryan Nickel.
So anyway, one more time I want to tell you about that one dominatrix. Yes, please. Okay, so we were asking, because she did a workshop at my house that day. Oh, the day that you came.
Oh, yes.
For the sword swallow. So we were, while she was doing the workshop, somebody asked, like, what's the craziest, like, request you've had or whatever. And I don't know the term for this, but she has a client that wants her to eat him, ingest his body, eat him.
Like bite or part of him and eat it?
Yeah, and she thinks that it's just the thought of it. Like, she's like, I don't think it's ever really going to happen, but then again, I could get a toe in the mail one day. I don't know. But so she said that she does online, because she lives abroad. And she said that she does online, like Zoom meetings with him. And so he'll want her to like make a smoothie and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to stick your finger in here and blend it up, and I'm going to drink it like this. And we were like, what? Well, nobody had ever heard of something like that.
I do a lot of virtual work as well. I should say a lot of virtual. I do some virtual work, and oh my God, the only limitation you have is your own creativity and imagination. Yeah. We have really pushed some limits, and it's erotic.
Yeah.
Because all imagination. Which, as you think about it, usually you think about something before you do it anyway. And so that's like the turn.
Right. And so when we first started getting into the lifestyle, like my husband thought that he wanted to see me be with someone else. But then we're like, what if it's just the thought of it and talking about it is
enough?
Is enough. You know, you do it and it's like, no. And so it was okay. He's like their biggest cheerleader. Okay, so I'm the most vanilla, I'm telling you, party host. We've never had a threesome with a female.
Oh.
And we had like maybe 3 threesomes with guys that I was auditioning for, that I was dating.
Fair enough, yeah.
And we've done a couple side-by-side, some group stuff with other friends, but we've never had like just us and another female done anything. But yeah, we do with a guy. He's like their cheerleader, or both of our cheerleaders, but a lot of guys afterwards, they're like, that was so cool. He was like egging me on. Like, I don't know.
Oh my God, I have a funny story for that. So I sometimes will go and I'll be the third, so I'll be a bull for hot wives. I have no problem doing that, and then I'll just be the third for so there's this couple. It was not this past summer. It was the summer before that. I had met with them, and interracial couple, and not that matters. However, you'll hear in this thing. So it was a black guy and a Hispanic woman. Beautiful people, and so I'm over there at their house, and I think I had been with them 3 times already. And every time it just progressed to that they felt more and more comfortable with me, that I could do more and more with her. So I'm there, and I remember one time he forgot the her. So the next time he goes, hey man, you need to wait until I fuck her, and then you can fuck her after me. Last time she was having so much fun with you that I forgot to fuck her.
Oh no.
My life, not my problem.
I forgot.
Yeah. So we're doing this, and it's the third time I'm with them, and I'm going down on her, and I have some skill in that, and been trained professionally. I didn't grow up knowing this shit. I was very vanilla in my Mormon life, and
Let's try it for that.
yeah. So I'd hired a sex coach. This is the next porn star to teach me all the tricks of the trade. So anyway, I'm pulling out some of the tricks, and she's moaning and she's going, and he's up there, he's like rubbing her hair, and he's like, baby, how you doing, baby? And she's like, oh, fuck, he knows everything. Oh, he's doing such an amazing job.
And he's like, wait a minute.
Well, no. He goes, damn it, I don't care what the he's doing. I'm asking you how you're feeling, not what he's doing. And I'm just like, I'm down and like, I'm grinning. I'm doing the shit. I'm like, this is about the red dude, just like, he's about to kick my ass. Yeah. And so I'm just eating it up. And she's just like, I'm feeling great. I've been there, okay. And so afterwards, he's walking me out. He's like, man, bro, you're a good wingman, but I don't need you to show me up. And I'm like,
I can teach you.
yeah, well, I'm like, not even that. I'm not here to show anybody up. I'm here to enhance your relationship. I'm a tool to your guys' pleasure. And if you feel like I'm overstepping or I'm doing,
Just let me know.
too much, let me know and I'll pull back. You know, I don't have to be the star. This is for you guys. You're inviting me into your relationship.
Right.
And that was the last time I ever saw them. She's reached out to me many, 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 many times. And I'm always like, so how is so-and-so? She's like, he's good. And I'm like,
Does he know about this conversation?
yeah, exactly. So at that point, I just was this, you know, I just left her on red and that was the end of it. Because I was like, I'm not
That might be cause of problems.
no,
For sure.
I'm not looking for, and I tell these too, whenever I connect with them, I'm like, hey, this is for fun. I'm not going to invite you to my house for Thanksgiving. You're not meeting my parents for Christmas. Like, we're not a relationship. And this is just pure fun. Like I know that, like, I told you earlier, I toy with being poly, but that's like, I enjoy the consistency of the relationship, but I'm very much, you know, non-monogamous physically, but when it comes to emotional, I'm very monogamous. Like, my heart is with my wife. I don't have any desire to be in
I feel like, okay, this is another thing from the interview last night. So I was telling her that I feel like I've always been poly, but I just didn't have a term for it. So I always just thought I was a hoe. And so we joke around about that. And then we joke around and we're like, okay, so monogamy in this economy, like, we're like, okay, so say you are poly, you get like 3 or 4 good incomes come in, you get half that house, nice boat, go on some great vacations. But for us, it's more like, I feel like I have a lot of love to give. I'm very loving. I'm very mothering. That's another thing my husband said about me, is that I'm very mothering. He was meaning to the kids, but I'm mothering to everybody. Like, I like mutual spoiling.
I saw that in your root reading as well.
I want to be
Just how nurturing you are.
Yeah, and I am, and I want it too. So like, I feel like I like the give and take and equality and stuff. But I always feel like, also, in my opinion, monogamy is kind of put a lot of pressure on one person to meet all your needs. Exactly. And I feel like there's just certain things that my husband is not in his nature to do that I need, and we can either fight about it,
or you can find it,
or I could find it somewhere else. And that's what I'm kind of trying to do, is like, okay, so I like a million things about him, but this one thing that I need, it's not his, you know, I don't want to fight with him about it. So if I find someone else who it is their nature, then I like a lot of massages. I like cuddling. My husband's not so much on that. So like, if I just have a cuddle buddy and they give me massages and flip it out.
You're happy.
And even just.
And it doesn't even have to be sexual.
And for me, I was going to say, it doesn't even have to be sexual. I just like, I guess it's the nudist, well, and the nudist, like you said, like somebody new to get to know and have the affection and attention from.
New relationship energy is addictive.
And that's another thing for me too that we talk about too, is like, when does something become an addiction versus a healthy life choice?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we've been talking about that in our Ladies of the Lifestyle.
My wife asked me that. She's like, is this some pro-looking addiction? I'm like, no, it's just a pleasure thing. To the point where I was like, you know what? Even when our relationship is closed, parlors are always on the table. I actually told her, I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and just like close this
everything else.
And it can't for me. I'll close everything down. And so I closed it down about 2 weeks ago. And for one reason or another, we didn't connect. We didn't have sex for like 3 days. We had sex before the show. And
today?
Yeah, today.
Okay. That's where you were running errands?
That's why I was running errands, yes.
Ryan.
I was taking his shirt off and she's like, one thing. She's like, you need to come here. So I was taking. And so when I her, she's like, oh my God, that's the biggest load you'd give me in a long time. I'm like, well, honey, I haven't been going to these places for a while.
I have a build up.
And so anyway, like, it's like, that's just what happens, you know? And she loves that. She loves all that attention.
I think my husband, like, he's typically very shy, and it's always me being like the loud, proud, outgoing one, and he's kind of just, I just the monster. What, him being like that?
No, being shy.
Oh, him being shy?
Yeah, because I've seen him at parties, and he's been getting his dick sucked and DJing at the same time. I'm like, oh, this guy's alive. I should be a DJ.
So he doesn't pursue stuff, though, because he tries so hard to be respectful that sometimes that just means he's not putting himself out there.
Correct.
So I'm usually like, when I do circle time, I'm like, I'll introduce myself, and I'm like, I'm Polly, blah, blah, blah. But my husband's a he really wants to get a BJ now, DJing, so I'll like hand.
And he said that's happening. You're a great wingman in that regard.
Yeah. So, but I've been more the person that will go on dates and do that part, and I think he's found somebody that he wants to go on dates with. And so they're supposed to be meeting us tomorrow at this boat RV convention. So this should be interesting.
So that's where my wife gets very scared, is if I go on dates. And I have gone on dates. And
Does she?
no,
She doesn't.
she doesn't do anything. She has no desire to. And I've encouraged her to, and she's like, no, you're welcome.
Okay, so what's the name? There's a name for that where because I had a guy who wanted to do that. He wanted to be monogamous to me, but he was okay with me being poly. And there's a term for it, but I can't remember what.
I don't actually know.
Yeah, he told me the term for it. And I'm
All right, yeah, we find that one now. So it's interesting. So if I go out and I'm like, she has no problem if I hunk it with people. If I have doesn't really care. But if I'm taking them to dinner, watching a movie at their place afterwards, it's
that part.
the fear of the emotional connection that could be
free, and you don't know.
Free, yeah.
And so that's why I was telling the agent last night too that I do this thing where I play scenarios out to the good end and then to the bad end.
Right.
So when I play it out to the good end, like he would find a partner or two, and I would find a partner or two, and we would live happily together with no jealousy and security. Just like I don't have to hook up with his girls, but I don't know, maybe we would.
Yeah. Okay.
But we would be supportive of each other, care about each other, like a family. Almost like we were like, we sound like a here, like the commune, like we're gonna start fun. And so that's like to the good end. Like we would have a nice house and go on great vacations and support each other. And then to the bad end, I get left by everyone and I have no one. So that's my bad thing is that I like, okay, so we're doing this. I'm opening the door. He could find someone he likes better. Maybe he's not as much a pain in the ass as me, or I don't know, whatever.
Right.
That he clicks with more than me. And then maybe the guys that think they like me when they get to know me, they realize,
Well, y'all are married.
Yeah.
Just do what's work, whatever.
yeah. So that's like, that's how it is for me. I'm like,
Well, and I see that fear. I mean, like that's her concern. And I'm like, no, wait, like you're my person. Like, I want to die with you. I'll be the end of the world with you.
when you're done doing the clear, if we don't find partners, because if you think about it, it's kind of not very likely it's going to happen because it's like, what two people have to get along to start the initial thing?
Right.
Then you bring a third in, they got to get along with both. You bring a fourth in, they got to get along with three people.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, what are the odds?
Exactly. Well, not only that, I mean, I have 5 kids. She has a daughter. And my kids love her. We're married.
Yeah, you don't want to break up all of that. They cost kids.
She's an amazing, I mean, again, aside from everything else, she's an amazing person. Like, I want to be with her. And
That's cool that she supports you on your extracurriculars.
she does. And the thing that she says is, like, she's, I don't want to say she's all that I want, because obviously I'm looking for more, but she is a large proportion, a large portion of what I'm looking for. But she's just like, hey, this is what I love about her. I think she is such an incredibly strong woman emotionally to allow for the person who she loves so completely and fully to go and to do this. And she's told me this. She's like, look, I can't love Orion who isn't free. And if you're not free, I don't want to be with you. I want you to be your full authentic self. And if that means that you need to go and to explore yourself, then as much as it discomforts me or it hurts me or it scares me, I'm willing to live with those discomforts so you can be who you truly want.
Do you think it's a phase? Like that you'll eventually be like, I don't have to do this. I get you. I feel like if I don't find somebody soon to be my other, that I'm just going to say, fuck it.
This is me making up for all the last pain. I mean, I'll be 45 in August, and I started this journey when I was 41 and a half. It was in February of 22. And
was she also working?
No.
She wasn't.
No, and I met her 2 weeks after I left my kid's mom. No, she was never more. Mm-hmm. And so it's for me, it's like, this is me exploring myself to the point where I had a girlfriend in high school who I dated her for maybe like 2 months. She was like the perfect girl for me. She was blonde. She was thin, big ass titties. Mm-hmm. And she had already dealt with dudes in high school. And so I was saving myself. I was like, I'm going to be when I get married, which I wasn't until 23. And so I just wanted to see her titties. Like, this is me out when I take down the door, I wanted to see titties. Like, I'm a 15, 16-year-old kid looking at porn, looking at boobies all day long. And so she had the perfect rack. And I remember one time her mom was gone and we went to her house and we were making out. And then we just stopped. Like, no shirt came off, no nothing, no bra, no nothing. And then like the next day she broke up with me. And I'm like, what the fuck? And she's just like, look, you're a nice guy, but I want someone who's gonna do more with me. So to the point where I'm just like, I'm in this phase now. I'm like, so I reached out to her. I'm like, hey, what's going on?
I do some stuff now.
I have some crush. I'm like, I see you're single. Do you want to share some pictures? And she's like, get on my DMs. And I'm like, all right, I tried. I tried. I mean, no, the crazy thing about it is like you want what you can't have. Like I didn't have her chitties in high school. I mean, I'm gonna say up like now, she'll love now, but like at the same time, I get every day. Like I see between 10 and 15 a day asking for reading, and so it's just like, what do I fucking care? Yeah, it's just I want what I can't have.
Right. Okay, so I got a funny story for you too. Okay, so this kind of goes back to my type or whatever.
Yeah.
So I like innocence. Like there's a couple guys that I talked to that had purposefully been celibate for like 18 months.
For you? Or just
just in general.
Right.
But that turns me on, and I'm like, oh, let's fix that. Like, if somebody comes to me being pervy, that's a turn off. But if they're innocent, then I end up being the perv one. And so I'm like, this is weird. I've never been the perv one.
You know, that's so funny you say that. Not so much on the side, but
I mean, I'm not even really a perv. It's just kind of a funny way to say it. Exaggerate it, but yeah.
But that is a turn on for me. So when when I'm on Tinder and when I'm on these other sites, when I'm actually looking for fun, for pleasure, some of these women will send me some very intimate, I don't want to say vulgar, that's probably not the right word, but very revealing photos. Like, I mean, if you want to send me your that's great, but do you want to send me your out of like spray open? I was like, that doesn't do anything for me. It seems for me out that's like, kind of like a repulsion.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's how I feel about dick pics too.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Let me see something. That's pretty good.
Did I see yours?
No, you've never seen.
Oh, okay, but
I have one that I send is like
standard.
They're like, what are we doing together? I was like, it was the right light, right angle on everything, you know. My six-pack show.
Like, this is from 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Get
catfish
the
show.
top
Yeah. Like when I send like,
right.
they're like they went 2018, not like yeah. But like those types of pictures, like that doesn't do it for me. I'm just like, oh, I'm cool that you're open like that. You feel comfortable sending it out, but like it's the innocence, the purity, and I don't know if that's my background, how I grew up, or if it's just I'm a very wholesome guy in general.
Me too.
And I mean, even when I step into the role of like,
I have a lot of old-fashioned values.
Yes, again, but I have no problem also stepping into the role of being like, you know, very freaky as well. But my default is like, no, I'm
right. See, that's on Fed, like Vet Life. And I know it's Fed Life, so I feel kind of like ironic saying this. But like guys will write me on there and they'll say like amazing stuff because they've read my bio and I specify who I bio, like this, and this. So they'll say all the right things and I'm like, oh, okay, sound cool. And then they'll click on their profile that's like 15 dick pics and then a like copy of their STD results. And I'm like, okay, yeah, well, right. Like I don't see your body, I don't see your face, I see 15 dick pics.
Yeah.
And so I tell them even like, you know, I liked what you had to say, but, and then they'll say, but this is fat. And I'm like, I know. And I know that sounds hypocritical, but.
So on Reddit, so I've hooked up with a lot of couples and a lot of singles on Reddit. And Reddit's kind of like the old, back pages kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't quite get how that works.
It's very hooked. It's very hooked up. And it's just like, I mean, literally, there was a girl during Christmas vacation. She hit me up, and I say girl because she was 21. I hit her in the car, and she was like, I just want someone to finger me. I'm like, oh, I got you, girl. So we go over to the parking lot, and I hook her up, and then she's like, actually, will you just like stick the tip in? And I'm like, I'm not just stick the tip in. If I'm gonna stick it, I'm gonna fuck you. She's like, yeah, will you do that? I'm like, okay, cool. So again, I come around my car, and I come back into her car, and we're doing the car thing, and I fuck her, and it was a good fucking. Like it was. I felt great, proud of that performance. Come to find out, she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, this was amazing. I was like, cool, how many times have you done this? She's like, I wasn't virgin until tonight. I'm like, what the? I felt so disgusted with myself. And I'm like,
I would have liked it. And I was like, I don't know, why did dye you a little bit or something?
No, I mean, I was like, fuck. I'm like, for real? I'm like, oh God, like this is not like how I would imagine like someone.
Your first time.
Yeah, using it for. Yeah. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Or maybe that was okay, what she wanted. As would be perceived somebody.
But again, I don't think so. She's just telling me this.
Right.
It could be a lie too, but at the same time, I felt terrible inside. I'm like, fuck, this is not. I would have rather had to be with someone that you know and not some
air out, whatever.
Yeah, like for a stranger that comes in your car.
Figures you real quick. And
and then you ask for more, I'm like, I would rather have to be like, what, he was my boyfriend for 2 years. Like, so when she's like,
telling her story to her husband.
Yeah, like, oh, the first guy so you like cried coals, you know, yeah, during Christmas vacation. And I'm like, oh God, yeah. So I'm like, oh, that's so great, you know. I'm like, shit. Well, I'm part of someone's story now.
Right. So that leads up to the story I was going to tell you. Okay, so a few years ago, actually, I guess it was just over a year ago, I met this guy on Fed. In hindsight, I'm thinking this was dangerous, but he was like, you want to go for a hike? And so I said, sure. So we went for a hike, and I had thought the guy was, I don't know, 25 or something, and he said that he thought I was 25 as well.
You love that, yeah.
Sure. And so we did the hike, and if you don't get too close, maybe or something. So we did the hike, and we were talking about music and stuff. And he's like, "You want to go back to my place and listen to some music?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." So I was like, "Where's your place?" So it ended up his place was the UC Davis dorms, and the guy had just turned 18, 6 months graduated from high school, and I was like,
no fucking way.
And then I said, "You know what? Fuck it, let's do it. This is as young as I could get. I got to go to Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it."
Yeah.
And then I was the second person he had sex with. He had sex with his high school girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then, so he, when he turned 19, I told him he was too old for me. Just kidding. I was just kidding.
Yeah.
But we were dating. Like, he wanted to date. And it was okay for a while, but then, like, it got to be weird, narcissistic, weird shit. He wants to be a lawyer and politician, so how would you perceive someone that wants to be a lawyer and politician?
Right.
The epitome of that. And I tried, and I was like, no. But that will always be a story in my head of, like, oh my God, like, this guy thought I was 25. I thought he was 25. He ended up being 18 and a half, and I'd never been in a dorm before. Dorm sucked. Then he got into a fraternity like 6 months later, and he was like, "Now I want you to come visit me at the fraternity." And I was like, oh my God, like, I'm going to be my age going to fraternity. This is embarrassing. He's like, "No, believe me, you're going to be the hot stuff at this fraternity." So I haven't visited him at the fraternity. I do.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So when people think that I'm like super, like, literally I was dating this person for 9 months. We had sex 3 times in 9 months.
Oh God.
This other guy I was dating for about 6 months. We had sex 1 time. I swear these guys are kind of this weird, graceful, age kind of shape.
If the sex is not good, is that the reason why you didn't have more sex?
No, and I wanted to. But I will say that of all the people I've had sex with, it's my husband. It's still the best. Just because I don't know the comfort level, or we're in a better situation. Like, we're not in a party, or we're not
right.
whatever. I don't know. Well, they didn't want it. He was like me, like, doesn't want it to just be sex. But it ended up, not only was it not just, it was hardly ever, which I was like,
what's the point?
This is weird. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I like hanging out and because like I was telling you earlier, I don't need this. Like, I could cuddle and this and that, the other. But when they're innocent, it makes me want to sex more. So I was wanting more, and then he was still like.
You know what's interesting about that? So when I first decided, like, okay, hey, this is the direction of my life I'm gonna go. I was like, well, shit, I never had sex in high school, and like you said, like, the lowest you could go is 18. I'm like, well, look, I want a teenager, and I remember telling it to my wife, and she's like,
right,
she's like, you're disgusting me. Like, here I am, 42 years old, and I'm like an 18-year-old, and I never made it to an 18-year-old, never made it to a 19-year-old. The closest I ever made it was a 20 or 1-year-old, but the one of those was a different one. But I gotta tell you, people that are young don't know how to have sex, and like, it's.
I thought it was kind of like, I thought, I could train them. I could not even just sex, like, emotionally, but it was so exhausting. I'm like, oh my God.
The conversation alone, sometimes I'm like, what are we talking about?
Oh my God, yes. So he used to be in our
fuck.
chat. He used to be in our chat because he came to some of the parties. So you
okay.
probably saw him.
Maybe.
But the chat, like,
My middle name is Samuel.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so his conversation in the chats was like, he wouldn't know songs that everybody else knew, or like.
Oh God, I know, yeah.
What you talk about, Willis? You know that?
Yeah,
They had no clue what you talk about Willis is. So then,
Chili Falls.
and then when you try to explain it to people, then it's like, so
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was calling us all like auntie and like unc and stuff, and
Gamer.
right?
Yeah.
Trying to explain like what kids do now, like and did you know that they don't call it a threesome now? They call it a 2-girl or a 2-guy.
Oh really?
So I was saying like like, would you have a threesome with me and my husband? And he said sure, but just so you know, it's not called a threesome anymore. We would call it a 2-guy. And I was like, oh. Okay.
Use that
Now you can use it on a cool.
I'll use that now, yeah.
Who wants to have a 2-guy?
What's a 2-guy? I'm available.
2-girl.
Well, I mean, they also say, like, they're not looking for a 2-guy or a threesome. They just say, hey, coolest come spit roast my wife. And I'm like, oh.
Eiffel Tower them or
Oh yeah. Do all that the bullshit.
yeah. So yeah, that's I mean it was interesting. He would even like the crying emoji. Like I guess it doesn't mean you're really crying now. It means you're laughing so hard you're crying. So like he was telling me that his mom had to put her dog to sleep, and so I put that emoji, and he goes, "I know what you mean, but I'm just going to tell you that now we consider that young people consider that to be laughing so hard I'm crying, not that you're actually crying." So now when I put it,
like that.
yeah. So now when I do that, when I put in parentheses, really crying, not laughing.
That makes no sense.
I know.
Because they have a laughing one when you are
I
crying.
know. So I asked my daughter, and she's like, "Yeah, people use it for both." She's like, my daughter's time. He even called my daughter, who's 21, auntie, because I know, and I'm like, you know, it's bad when your youngest child's auntie's.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny you say auntie because I was in Pasadena and I was getting massaged by this lady, and she was one of the best, probably technical that I've ever had, and being like, you know, so smooth and so and stuff like that. And so we were talking about ages and stuff like that, and we were joking because I thought she was like 27, 26, something like that. And she goes, "Oh, well, no, I'm 45 or whatever, or like 38 or something like that." And I'm like, "Oh," she's like, "You can just call me auntie." And I'm like, "Oh, you're the best auntie I've ever had." And so we're talking, and she's like, "How does auntie do?" I'm like, "Auntie's such a my aunt." And I'm like, "This is crazy, so many lines in so many ways, you know."
I know, like there's so many times where I'm like, what am I doing?
So we're down for my grandma's funeral, and
Every good story starts like that.
It does, doesn't it? So I'm down in Pasadena for my grandma's funeral, and my auntie is giving me the best I've ever had. And
Not auntie, not your girl.
yeah, no, this auntie, yeah. So this Asian auntie, and so my kids are at home. They're with my mom. They're with my sister, and I'm like, "Hey, it's a long drive. I'm gonna go get a massage and return to home."
Right, your wife was like.
Well, my wife wasn't there. No, she was working. So I'm there, and she's finishing the massage, and there's like a knock on the door, and this other lady comes in. She's like, and she's like,
You guys go?
she like steps out, and then she like comes back in. She's like, "Honey, your wife here," and I'm like, No, my wife is home. Like I'm not from here. She's home. I'm on vacation. Yeah, she's working, and so then she goes back to the lady. She goes, yeah, and so she leaves, and she comes back. She's like, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And like we're almost. I had already had the happy ending, and we're just like sitting and talk, you know, just hanging out, whatever. And so she comes to the door. She's like, "Oh, and she goes, "Honey, your wife waiting for you." And I'm like, no. She's like, yeah. She goes, "Honey, your name Ryan?" I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah. She waiting in the lobby. And I'm like, okay, cool. Hang on real quick. So I'm just like, I knew who the fuck knows my name and who knows where I'm at. Right. So I get dressed and I go out there, and sure enough, it's my wife sitting there with her suitcase, and she wanted to surprise me that she was going to fly down for the funeral the next day and then fly back to work the next, evening, and wanted to surprise me.
Oh my god!
And so I'm like, "Oh my god, how you doing?" Like, I mean, she doesn't care. She doesn't want that. So I give her a kiss, and like the ladies like,
"Did they think you were there?"
They're folks like shoot everybody else out. So they look at it's like I pull it 100. I'm like, "Here you go. Here's your tip." You know, way more than I normally pay people. But I'm like, "Fuck, like you."
Yeah, to deal with some weird.
Yeah, I said like, "Hey, she gave me a great massage too." So anyway, I'm kissing on her. I'm like, "Oh my god, I missed you so much." She's like, "Fuck, I was hoping to have sex with you tonight." I'm like, "Oh, you still can, you know." But then she's telling me, she's like, "I'm getting to drive an Uber from the airport all the way over to this place." And the guy's like, she's like, "I'm loving on you." I'm like, "Oh my hair, I'm gonna surprise my husband and all this stuff." He's like, he pulls up this massage phone. He's like, "Your husband's in here." She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay."
How did she know which place you're getting a massage?
Because I have finding friends.
Oh.
And she was just she wouldn't surprise me, and she didn't know where the Airbnb was, so she couldn't go to the Airbnb and surprise me there. So she surprised me at the massage bar.
God, that's so funny.
And I'm like, "You would come 10 minutes earlier. You probably could have interrupted something."
I had threesome here.
Oh yeah. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, something about stories, you know.
Like I said, one of my favorite parts is the story.
It is, and she's completely cool with everything. So yeah, so you are. What you do, you know? Yeah, love right, you know.
I try to be careful, like with my husband, because I would say we're still fairly new to stuff because we've been doing it for 2 years, but we haven't done that much. Mm-hmm. So I'm still like really careful about like not wanting to seem like I'm rugging stuff in his face. Like if I do go on dates, like I would prefer he's busy doing something else. So he's not sitting at home wondering like.
That's the worst. And so she's always like, so I do make sure that when I am going and doing stuff that she's working.
Doing something else.
Because when she's just to herself,
that sucks. Yeah, it makes you feel like shit.
Well, it makes you feel like shit, and then you start to worry, and your mind starts to wander, you're not distracted, and
it doesn't make a good experience. So either yeah, so I've done that to him a couple times, and he was texting me kind of jealous, a little bit angry while I'm there.
Those are the worst. We don't have that problem anymore, but then again, I don't go on dates anymore. But when I used to go on dates, and we like, she would text me shit.
And he's trying to be better, and
it's hard though.
We're waiting to see what it's going to be like for me, because I haven't had to experience it. It's been me doing all the stuff while he's at home, where he's doing
we're the same.
So
she hasn't either, and I've encouraged her. She actually went on one date before. Come to find out, years later, she told me it was the last she ever been on a date.
Oh.
I'm like, you told me to get this guy, go to the car.
I was about to see how you.
Yeah, like that's fantastic. That's awesome. Oh, and then I asked her a question like a couple days later. I'm like, hey, curiosity, did you spit or swallow? She's like, I spit it out all over you. And I'm like, what the f***? Why would you do that? And then she like come through. She's like, actually, it never really happened. Oh, no. I know. I was like, oh, I'm like, what the hell? Why would you lie?
She wanted to see how you feel.
She sometimes we fight, we argue. She's like, you never know what it's like. You've never experienced what I've gone through. I'm like, no, but you have the freedom to. And I'm like,
Does she say I would do that to you?
Yeah, she's like, I never could do that to you. And I'm like, I don't do it to hurt you.
Right.
But I also don't think I have that same jealousy. Like, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Tell me more about
conversation, right?
I want to know more.
Right, what it's called? Conversation?
Compersion.
Compersion.
Yeah.
Right. I thought it was called conversation, but it's compersion.
Compersion, yeah.
Compersion, okay.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hello, my name is Alice Lamana, and I was given an amazing reading from Ryan last week, and it was the most amazing thing I've actually ever experienced.
I have to be honest, I thought at first it was just kind of this scam that was unique that this guy was running to be able to just see lots of videos on the internet. But it turned out to be actually pretty intuitive and accurate.
He was able to pick up on things that I've known about myself, but that I haven't voiced out loud to anybody.
He explained things that I didn't share with him, and the connections make sense to me. It helped me learn a little bit more about how my body stores energy that I'm experiencing.
I was shocked. Couldn't believe some of the things that he had said.
I would highly recommend Ryan.
Oh my gosh, I highly recommend it.
Try it. See what happens. See what you find out about yourself.
I just had a book reading with Ryan, and I want to highly recommend that you do also.
Now, back to our Topless Talk interview with Ryan Nickel.
So here's the thing, kind of bringing things full circle. So I did ayahuasca 2 weeks ago. And during the ayahuasca, it showed me, is like we had this soul contract before that she wanted to do some deep work during this carnation, this iteration of life. And so we had this agreement that she came to me, she's like, I need you as my partner to allow for me to do this deep work. I'm like, what's the deep work? The deep work is I want to love you so completely, but still be okay sharing you and knowing that I'm giving a gift to someone else freely, without manipulation, without coercion. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And she's like, but I can't do the deep work if you don't tell me what you're doing. If we decide to open a relationship and you're doing something over here and I am ignoring it or I don't know about it, that doesn't help me do the deep work. I need to feel it. So you need to explain to me and share with me your feelings and your desires. And this is all through Aya. And so I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, I was with this prostitute, I had sex with her, and I did this with my therapist, and she doesn't know about, and I did this with this other woman. And I'm like, oh, I should probably tell all these things. So I did, and I'm like, hey, by the way, she's like, it was all I want, yeah. And I was like, fuck. And so I'm like, okay. So I had to take a step back, and I'm like learning. I'm like, okay, but I'm like, hey, this is something that I want to do, and but I also need to share with her the reasons why I want to do it, and let her feel it and go through that rather than hide it.
So when Duke and I, like when I go on dates and stuff, he does ever ask anything about it. I know if he does, I'm gonna be like, tell me what happened start to finish. I want to know.
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah.
I would want to know.
I'm just so curious.
Yeah, so nosy. Like, I always joke around, I'm super nosy. But I know, and I ask myself, like, why do I want to know? Like, do I want to know because I'll be like fist bumping him, like, yay for you? Or do I want to know and it's kind of like eating me a little bit? Like, I don't know. Like, I haven't had it happen yet, so we'll have to see.
Well, she's making up the stories, and I'd asked, and like,
even in the story, you didn't get jealous, right?
No.
Yeah. Same circumstance.
I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. Like, I'm happy for you. Like, that's beautiful. Like, how'd you feel? Did you feel desired? Did you like this? Did you like that? And I mean, she made us crazy ass stories. Like, this
I wonder where'd she really go? Out for lunch with a friend or something? To the gym.
We were not living together. She was still in Tahoe. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, okay, so it's up there.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like, have fun, yeah. And then she also said, like, one time I'm on a date, and she's like, well, I'm going on a date too. And I'm like, oh, cool. Let's compare notes afterwards.
Yeah.
That, and then
she wasn't.
Well,
so that's how I would act too. You know, I'm trying to like get myself prepared for it.
Well, it's hard right now. So I mean, I put things on pause because I wanted to give her a break because it didn't sell her a lot of stuff.
Right, a lot of stuff to process.
Well, it's also like, so there's this one therapist who I had sex with, and I didn't have a condom with her. And she's like, why did you not know to this person? That's one of our rules. And I'm like, well, I had in the car and was downstairs, and I started to go out to get my clothes back on and go down there, and she was kind of like back, and I'm like, no, don't worry.
Yeah, if you had to do all that, it's not happening.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not gonna miss an opportunity here, so I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
And then the situation was, I put my tip in, and I was like, it was just. By this time, she had already been massaging my body for 2 hours, so I was very stimulated. And as soon as I ate her out, and then we were gonna get ready to fuck, and so I put my tip in, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm overstimulated, and I pulled out, and it just came all over her belly and her chest, and I'm like, hey babe, I actually want to meet with the person again, and she's like, well, why? And I was like, well, because
we'll get the full experience.
Exactly, I didn't, and she didn't get the full experience either.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to leave her thinking that I'm not even a one pump.
Yeah, I'm like the one pump shop. I'm like half pump.
2 hour massage.
Yeah, and she's like, okay, cool. So I invite her to our house to do the massage, and she's like, I want you to fuck our house, and I'm like, oh, I'll go back to her studio thing. And then I was like, this is just too much. Just like, she knows this woman personally, and I'm like, oh, this is too close to home for her. So I'm just feeling like, you know what, I'm cool. Like deep inside, I would love to have that other experience. She's a beautiful, woman. I think she's very attractive, and she is my type. Like she's very much my type. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not worth it.
Yeah. So
I was like, oh, cool. I can forego that and still have a great relationship with my wife, and then go on to choose something else. And also, it's not mirrored or mired with the idea of like, you did something outside of the comfort of our agreement. So if you're going to go pursue somebody that's going to be that you're going to be authentic and open and honest with me about, rather than going and like trying to like redeem yourself with someone who you kind of broke our rules with. Like that's the discomfort. You broke the rules with her, and now you back to her. Yeah, you have an emotional connection to her. Like, what is it about her specifically? And I'm like, oh no, there's more of it. I just didn't get an ego. Yeah. It's more of an ego thing for me. And so I'm like, okay, I got to go pursue this organically somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah. And then, that's kind of weird. Like the lady, again, I'm sorry I keep talking about this, but the lady brought up a lot of interesting topics. And so she was asking us like pros and cons of poly and whatever. And I was saying that I feel like the pros are that you have a community of people. Like you have more people that care about you and can help you or do things with and have your back or whatever. And then I think the con is just trying to get along with you people on that level,
Yeah, it's challenging.
And I do feel like, though, that a lot of people, like, there might be less divorce if people would give each other the opportunity to maybe get some needs met outside. If you're not meeting each other's needs, it's made as a divorce. Yeah, like, oh, we're getting a divorce. It's like, well, how about we don't get a divorce and you can get those needs met? And for me, like, before we started doing all this, I wanted to just be able to go out to lunch with a guy maybe and talk and not feel like I'm just gonna get in trouble. Yeah. Because even that I would got in trouble with before. And so for me, it's like just having conversations with people,
Right.
And I don't know. It's just, I feel good about it, but I also want to feel like what if I decide I don't want to do it anymore and he still wants to? How will I feel about that, or vice versa?
That's one of my fears, honestly, is like I'm going through this phase right now, and let's say like, you know, in 2 years, I'm like, I fall out of my system. I'm all that. She's like, actually, I'm really still. I'm feeling with that. I'm like, oh shit, here I go.
Right, I know. We've been kind of doing things on my cycle, I guess. Like, oh, I want to do this, so we're doing it. Oh, I'm done, so we're doing it. Like, and even when I told him like that I was thinking about possibly after the convention being done, I was like, so you better hurry up, because if you don't do da by then, you lost your opportunity. And then I thought, well, wow, that's me being really consumed.
Really, yeah, closing it down.
Yeah. And
would you even care though? Like if you decide you're done, he's like, you know, I'm still want to, you know, enjoy it. An occasional BJ and DK, you know?
I don't know. It's hard to know until you're doing it. And he hasn't really. He's pretty good at saying, okay, well, whatever you want to do, you kind of take the reins on it and we'll do what you want to do. So he's been pretty good at that. Granted, most of it is like, oh, yeah, twist my arm, because it's been like, sure, make me go half.
Yeah.
But if it comes to the other end of it where I'm done and he's not, I don't know. We'll have to see.
But you're done, then that you're done.
That's what I say, but meaning if I'm done, we're done. But
well, I'm done. We're all done.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But the thing is I'm hoping like maybe he can find, like I said, a person or two, and I can find a person or two, and then we can maybe still do all the other stuff. I don't know.
It's all doable. It's all about communication. You know, bringing back to what you said originally, like, you know, you didn't realize how poor communication was until you started having these parties. You're like, oh my God, no one appreciates.
So, oh my God, yeah, people do not communicate.
But when you do, it's like, oh my God, like it's so free.
I feel like so many problems in the world, just in general, society, is miscommunication, lack of communication.
Well, even the challenges that I have with my wife now, is sometimes it's a miscommunication.
I know some of it is, yeah. Or for communication.
Or sometimes like it's funny because like, she's like, well, you've lied to me. I'm like, well, I didn't really lie. I was omitting the truth. Like I told you before, like we're about ready to have sex. And she's like, did you sleep with this person? I'm like, of course not. I'm like, if I say yes, then we're not gonna have sex. I'm like, no, we're not. And then later, I'm like, oh, by the way, you know, you told me, you asked me, like in the moment. You know?
Yeah, I told you later. Well, some of the stuff.
Why is it hiding? I didn't. And they're like, well, fuck.
I'm telling you now. Yeah. Some of the stuff with him is I feel like, if I lie or don't tell, like, I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want to rub stuff in your face or hurt your feelings, so I just don't tell you. Like, I'm not trying to lie about it and cover it up. I'm just like, really don't want to hurt your feelings.
Exactly. That's how I was too. And so now, before I had my experience with Aya, and like I was like, no, she needs to know.
It's her process.
Because she could do her process. And so I'm like, well, like, so I told him, like, look, I don't lie to you. I mean, in those moments, like, when I was like, oh, shit, this is not going to benefit me, for sure. Like, I'm doing that, but I'll come out and come clean in a minute because, you know, I'm aware. So that's and you need to, like, shit out for it, so I liked you, but I guess, you know, that's unfortunately the repercussion. But the reality is like, now moving forward, like, if I have desires to do something, like, I'm going to tell you first and foremost. So
I think that's the thing, too, with us is we're trying to talk about things more ahead of time.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people for our parties, too, like the new people. I tell them, like, okay, have communication with your partner. Maybe before you go to a party, be like, okay, what are we going to do? Like, what's our plan for tonight? And then maybe check in with them, like, halfway through the party, be like, okay, everything still feel good? Do you feel like you want to maybe do a little more? Are we good?
Right.
And then check in the next day, be like, are you still feeling okay? So, like, I have this thing that I tell people, but then, you know, sometimes you forget to do it in your own.
Oh, 100%. Well, in my work, healing practice that I have, like, we've already gone through this iteration where she knows everything that I do and don't do within the bounds of that practice. And so she no longer asks me, no longer to tell her, like, hey, this is what's going on.
She already knows.
Yeah. And I don't tell her specifics because there's confidentiality and things like that. But I also, like when I first started healing, I was fucking people. And because I thought I was the magic equation, you know, going there. I'm like, no, this isn't true. Like, they can get the same result without they can do it, you know, manually or whatever. Right. And so, you know, going through that process, you know, we've evolved, but now it's like, it's into the relationship side of things. Are like, I actually need to, you know, dispose, because that's what we do. And but again, going back to Aya, like, was what I said I needed to do. And it's interesting because when you, at least for me, it's more of a process for me because if I didn't tell her, I didn't have to tell her my motives. And that's where I get like really hung up on like shit, I gotta like really pull back myself, like, open up and expose myself. Like, these are my motives. This is what's really motivating to want to be with this person. And digging deep into that really also stops me sometimes. I'm like, you know what? I'm having to pause here and look at what are my real motives, why I'm pursuing this. I'm like, actually, I'm not that attracted to this person or the situation.
Why am I?
Yeah.
Why am I? Yeah, so that
Other
was
than because I can.
stuff.
Yeah, because like, you can, so should you? And I'm like, now that I'm going to dispose of her, I'm like, actually, I really don't want to.
Yeah. So maybe that'll make you like reel yourself in a little more.
I have.
Yeah.
Which is why.
I mean, even if it wasn't the pause, you still might be.
Yeah, where I paused might be because I was like, shit, I just really need to check in with myself and look at my emotions and desires of what I'm doing.
I noticed, yeah. So much to deal with, yeah.
And all right, what's the fantastic interview?
Yes.
Anything that you want to leave the audience with that you feel would be important for them to know about you or your events or anything?
Well, I guess if they want to join my group or if they get in the convention, I guess they would just like, I don't know, reach out to you, or can you put like a link to it on your...
I'll put a link when I post this, yeah.
So, yeah.
And if you want to just put out your socials or where you want them to contact you, like just on social media or wherever?
I mean, most of my interaction, I know a lot of people don't like Facebook. The reason I've chosen Facebook is it's the only...
So old, auntie.
Yeah, I know. Right? So it's the only platform that I found that where I can have a group and then link chats and make the events, and people can just do a search and find me. You know how on Telegram and some of those you had to be personally invited.
You need to like scroll back for days.
Oh, I hate the chats or the chats.
Yep.
So that's why I've done it. There's people on Instagram that are like, oh, I don't do Facebook, and I'm like, and I'm on FED, but I really just help people on FED join my Facebook. So I mean, it's on Facebook under NorCal RNC with parentheses relationship nonconformist.
Yeah.
But if they can't find it from a search, I guess you'll post the link so that they can find us. And for sure, there's a lot of events, a lot of activities. We do a lot of cool stuff.
But you did come to events, so you better hurry up because...
Yeah. I can maybe, if I get enough people begging, I'll say how I'm saying. But no, I'm sure, like, I go back and forth. Like I said, even with the convention, I'm like, one day I'll be like, no, we should quit. Like, we don't want to do it. And the next day I'm like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
So I go back and forth. I think out of fear and stress and anxiety. So I'm sure it'll keep going. I just like to, even if I don't host the pleasure parties, I'll still have the other stuff. And because then people can post, if they have spicy stuff on, they can post it.
Oh, it's even better.
So then it's not all on me. I try to tell them that anyway. Like, everybody have an event, post something so it's not always me.
Yeah, you're very sharing in that regard. So people are like, oh no, this is mine all day. And you're fucking like, no, everyone that has an event, like, you're like, that's what I love about you is that you're an equal opportunity promoter.
But I do ask though, like, if I promote people's events that they're making money off, if they also promote mine. So I'm like, let's give money to each other. So I'm not promoting your event and then I get nothing yours, you know?
Yeah.
So I do ask for that if it's something that they're doing where they're going to be earning from it and whatever. I'm like, help, promote me too.